It's time already for my first mid-month book haul. You know, we're at the 15th of January already. Doesn't time fly? And I have had an incredible start to the year. If this year carries on like this first sort of 15 days, it is going to be amazing. I've read 7 books. And I started off with Maggie The Marriage Portrait, which was super, absolutely super. Let me get to the right page in my little book. It didn't have the emotional impact of Hamnet for me. I didn't have to get the tissues out. Maybe other people do, but I didn't. It's the fictional account of Lucrezia di Cosimo de' Medici, who was a young girl who died within a year of her marriage to Alfonso, Duke of Ferrara. So we don't know a lot about her because she was only 15, 16 when she died. But what Maggie O'Farrell's done is she's created this fictional account of this girl who is impetuous and creative, and all the way through the book you know what her ending is going to be, and so all through the book you are fearing for her, and you see this girl as a child, as a young woman. You see her navigating her marriage, and I thought it was super. I thought it was an absolutely lovely book, and I'd highly recommend it. The next one I read was one that was gifted me by the author, Sophia Lambton. She'd sent me volume 1 of The Crooked Little Pieces back last year sometime, middle of last year. And this is part 2. This is volume 2. I think she's intending to do about 6 or 7. And this one goes from, we've got sort of 1945, 46, 47. It covers that sort of period. And again, you've got the two sisters, Anneliese and Isabel van der Holt. And these are twin sisters. Anneliese is very, very scientific, training to be a psychiatrist, and Isabel is creative. She's almost a musical prodigy. And you have their story as it carries on in their story. Isabel is married, desperate for a child, and Anneliese is still carrying on with her psychiatry and finding more and more secrets about her own psychiatrist, Susanna. And there is a lovely character arc for Isabel in this one, and real emotion in this one. The next one was Annette Galliard that comes out in the 2nd of March, and it's Sebastian Barry's new one, Old God's Time. And I love this one. This was a 5-star for me. You've got a retired policeman, a widowed retired policeman who now lives by the sea, and when he's visited by 2 policemen who are reopening a cold case and they want his input, it opens up for him all sorts of memories, because as a child he had a very traumatic childhood in an orphanage where he was abused, and his wife June, she had a similar sort of childhood, and it reopens all sorts of memories. And he is at times an unreliable narrator, but as the book carries on you find more and more truth, and it was beautiful. Powerful and harrowing at times, but so beautiful. And that was a 5-star. The next one was this little novella, Heatwave by Victor Jestin. And this is translated from the French, and it takes place at the end of August, when 17-year-old Leo is on a camping holiday with his family, and he watches another one of the teenagers die. He stumbles across Oscar, who is hanging from ropes on a swing. He's not sure whether he'd sort of trying to hang himself to get attention or whether it was an intentional suicide. We don't know, but Leo doesn't help, he just stands and watches. And then he makes the bizarre decision to go and bury the body. So this book is about his guilt, his feelings, and it's also about teenagers and teenage angst and peer pressure and almost the desire to be noticed in a crowd. It's described as a crime, long listed for the CWA crime fiction. I'd have said it was more a story about teenagers and teenage guilt. Right, the next one, another 5-star. This, Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, this beautiful, beautiful book, the retelling of Medusa, and I adored it. Another 5-star, and it's witty. You've got petty gods squabbling and sulking. You've got the story of Medusa as a child growing up, and you've got Perseus, who comes across as whiny and sulky and a bit of a monster. And it's the idea of making you look at who is the real monster. Is Medusa, with her snake hair and her eyes that can petrify, the monster, or is Perseus? It makes you reevaluate the story of Medusa. This is what she's done. She's given us a different account of this person of myth that we all know the story of. Right, then the next one is one of my yellow books, The Village Shop for Lonely Hearts by Alison, Sherlock. And what I always say about yellow books, or yellowish books, is they are feel good. They give you a warm squeeze, and this ticks all those boxes. Amber has lost her job in New York, and on the way to going back to on her way to her parents in New Zealand, she calls in the little village of Cranbridge to visit her godmother, who's had a bit of a difficult time. She finds the shop that her godmother Kathy runs dismal, dreary, cluttered, and on the brink of financial ruin. So her and Kathy's son Josh, they set about trying to save this shop. And you've got natural disasters, and it's a story of community and friendship and even romance. Can't beat a yellow book for a bit of feel good. And the final book of the first half of the month was Birnam by Eleanor Catton, and it's her new one that comes out on the 2nd of March. And it's set in New Zealand, and it features Mirror, who is a guerrilla gardener. She's got this guerrilla gardening group called Birnam Wood, who go and set crops in land that is unused. They trespass occasionally. It's a bit of an illegal thing. And when there's a landslide in the town of Thorndyke, she goes and decides that this abandoned farm is going to be perfect for their group. But when she's there, she meets this billionaire who is who tells her that he's bought the farm, but she can't use it because he's going to be installing an end of days bunker. But it's, do they trust each other? Is he hiding something? Is she hiding something? And then you've got other characters coming into play, and a slow start of the book, but the ending really keeps you going. But you just have to get over the slow start, but the ending is terrific. So, a terrific first half of January. There's no competition for mine. Book of the first half, Natalie Haynes' Medusa. Fantastic. So, I'm hoping that my second half of January, and in fact the rest of the year, is going to be as amazing as these past 15 days. So, I will leave you now. I'll go off and do some more reading. So, happy reading. Take care.